Do you ever feel hopeless when making dua? If that's the case, then today's name is for you. And Malik, the king, the owner. Why is it that we're getting to know Allah's names? Because to know Him is to love Him. How can we claim we love someone we don't know? So each day of Ramadan, we'll be getting to know one name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because to know Him is to love Him. And once we love Him, we'll start to show up differently in our life. We'll start to worship Him as though we can see Him. And ta'bud Allah ka'annaka tarah, which is the highest level of Iman, the level of Ihsan. Bismillah, let's begin. There's this beautiful story of one of the righteous men. He was very poor and his family were extremely poor and they lived on this hut. And he really wanted to go to Hajj. They didn't have very many provisions, so going to Hajj almost felt like it was impossible, right? How many of us are making the impossible dua and we think how? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala facilitated him to go to Hajj. And so he went off to Hajj, and while he was in Hajj, his family was home. And one of the emirs or the kings was passing by and he was hunting and he really wanted water. So he asked his gathering around him to go fetch him some water. And they saw this little hut in the distance. So they go to this hut and they knock on the door and they say, the emir is asking for water. And they couldn't believe it. They're like, the emir is knocking on our door to ask for water. So they gave the emir some water. And so the emir drank this water and he was just so incredibly amazed by this, the barakah of this water. He's like, he took off his belt and he gifted it to them. And this belt had all of these rubies and these gems, and this belt was worth a lot of money. And so subhanAllah, he gifted it to the family. And so this would make the family so rich, subhanAllah. They were living in a very impoverished state. And by them having this belt, this will enable them to live in a much more better state. And the daughter cried. The mum asked her, why are you crying? She said, if a king of this world looked at us for a moment of mercy and he gave us this, imagine the king of the worlds. Imagine the Lord of the worlds, him just looking at us with a glimpse of rahmah. This story is so significant. Imagine Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the King of kings, the owner of owners, looking at us with one glimpse of rahmah and mercy. Isn't that so incredible? So what does this beautiful name mean? And Malik, and Manik, and Malik, the king, the owner. This beautiful name combines both. You could be an owner, but not necessarily a king, right? I could own a piece of land, but does that mean I'm the king? Not necessarily. I could be a king, but not necessarily the owner of everything in this world. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is both the king and the owner. If we are stuck in our dua and we think, oh, it's impossible, think about it. We're going to the Lord of the worlds, the King of kings. We're going to the most important being ever, and we're asking of him. Do you think he'll shortchange us? Do you think he doesn't have the provisions? Absolutely not. So this name gives us so much comfort, knowing that we're not just going to anyone, we're going to Allah. Think about it. If you want you need to seek legal advice, or if you need some money, who do you go to? You seek out people, right? You seek out with people with power, money, and influence to help you. Now imagine going to Allah that has it all, that has all the keys to all the doors. It brings us so much comfort. So go to Allah with that impossible dua, the dua that people say, oh, you're too old to get married, you're too old to have a kid. No, you'll never find that job. Go to Allah. Knock on the door of the King of kings. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in many ayat in the Quran that He owns everything in the heavens and the earth. So He constantly is reminding us, like, don't worry, I own everything. Like, if you want anything, come to me. Come and knock on my door. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala owns everything. What does that also mean? That our house, our children, our provision is not ours. We're just temporary custodians of it. So next time you say my house, my child, my this, I want you to stop and say, actually, this is not mine. I'm just a temporary custodian of all of these things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the owner of my child. Allah is the owner of my soul. Allah is the owner of my car. Allah is the owner of my house. Allah is the owner of my health. I've just been entrusted with this. So this brings us so much comfort and also a sense of responsibility. Because if, say, for example, a neighbor gave you a plate, right? And she says, oh, this is a plate, But I'm going to ask for it back. Would you destroy that plate? Would you, get rid of that plate? Would you chuck that plate in the bin? No, you're going to look after it. You're going to clean it, right? Because it's not yours. You know it's not yours. Now, if we start looking at it with everything that Allah has given us, our provision, our health, our children, our everything, what are we going to do? It's going to make us show up differently in our life, right? This name gives us so much comfort because when something is taken away from us, we don't panic because we know it belongs to Allah. Maybe we lose a loved one and we start to panic and we get sad, and that's okay to be sad. Ultimately, we remember that that soul belongs to Allah. We don't become arrogant when we're given something to think, I made this money, I got this, I got this. Yes, you did sa'i. That means you took action, which is beautiful, right? But it doesn't mean because of you got that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave it to you because He gave it to you. Yes, you have to do sa'i as part of tawakkul, as part of action, but ultimately it was given to you by Allah. So this beautiful name reminds us that actually, hey, don't be arrogant. This actually belongs to Allah. It was given to you by Allah. You don't fear people anymore because people don't own anything. People have actually no power. So once you remember this name, you remember who actually has true power. It's Al-Malik, the king. And then lastly, this name reminds us, make dua to the king. If you want anything, if you need anything, if you're in desperate need of help and assistance and guidance, run to Al-Malik, the king. And remember, your soul belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So one day the angel of death will come and he'll ask for your soul to come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah enable our soul to go back to Him radiyatun mardiyah, insha'Allah, a soul that's content and pleased. So once we start looking at this beautiful name, it really reminds us of what is really important, that we don't actually own anything, that our soul belongs to Allah, and if we need anything, we run to the one that has all power, Al-Malik, the owner, the king. If you've loved today's name, I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to reach out to me on Instagram or YouTube and tell me what you love and resonating from today's name. And until tomorrow, Assalamu alaikum.
قل اللهم مالك الملك تؤتي الملك من تشاء وتنزع الملك ممن تشاء وتعز من تشاء وتذل من تشاء بيدك الخير إنك على كل شيء قدير